ICE, we ain't afraid of you!
ICE, we ain't afraid of you!
Chaos in Los Angeles. Stores looted, cars burnt to a crisp, and American flags torched. Anarchists and dirt bikes are waving Mexican flags around LA while the city's engulfed in flames. And they love this country so much that they're waving the flag. So why do they hate the idea of being sent back? This doesn't look like assimilation. This looks like what it is, an invasion. This all started Friday afternoon. ICE agents were assisting a federal drug and money laundering raid in downtown LA, when all of a sudden, dozens of protesters showed up and clashed with officers on the scene. The mayor of Los Angeles didn't stop it. She told LAPD to stand down for hours and hung federal agents out to dry. Karen Bass told Trump, "Keep your hands off my Biden migrants."
We are going to fight for all Angelenos, regardless of when they got here, whether they have papers or not. We are a city of immigrants, and this impacts hundreds of thousands of Angelenos.
While rioters were raising hell, Democrats chose sides.
I step out of LA so that order can be restored.
If they're escalating their tactics, then so are we. When they show up, we gotta show up even stronger.
By Saturday morning, cop cars were getting pelted with rocks, and officers had to start deploying tear gas. The media told us, don't worry, the protests are mostly peaceful.
Most of the crowds, again, that I saw, that I spoke to, that I was interacting with, these are peaceful people that want to get their message across.
Most of those demonstrators were very peaceful.
The reality is we see peaceful protests launching in Los Angeles.
What did happen in 1992 was so different from what we're seeing now. I mean, that was a real riot.
What about the cars on fire? ABC says it's just people having fun.
There's a large group of people. It could turn very volatile if you move law enforcement in there in the wrong way and turn what is just a bunch of people having fun watching cars burn into a massive confrontation and altercation between officers and demonstrators.
No, police weren't having fun. The chief of LA County says he was outmanned.
We are overwhelmed as far as the number of people out there engaged in this type of activity and the type of things that they're doing. They'll take backpacks, and the backpack will have a cinder block in it. They have a hammer, and they'll break up the cinder block and use that, pass it around to throw at officers, to throw at cars, and throw at other people.
By 6 o'clock on Saturday, the city was on fire, and Trump had to call in 2,000 National Guard for backup. Now it's up to 4,000. Trump didn't wait for permission from the governor like the last summer of love. Now there's a new policy. When they spit, we hit.
If we see danger to our country and to our citizens, we'll be very, very strong in terms of law and order. It's about law and order. When they spit at people, you know, they spit. That's their new thing. They spit, and worse, you know what they throw at them, right? And when that happens, I have a little statement. They say, they spit, we hit. And I told them, nobody's going to spit on our police officers. Nobody's going to spit on our military.
Protesters liked spitting, but they didn't like getting hit.
You told me you got caught up in the tear gas as well. Describe what happened to you.
Oh, just tasted a little tear gas. Tasted like fascism.
The media rushed to blame Trump.
Didn't really reach this point of the scale and the intensity of this protest and the scale and the intensity of the confrontation between protesters and law enforcement until National Guard troops were deployed here today. That very much poured gasoline on the flames, and that very much led to the LAPD, acting as in as widespread and aggressive a manner as we saw them acting today.
Now, the press said everything was mostly peaceful until the National Guard showed up. But the New York Times is reporting the National Guard hasn't even engaged with the protesters at all. National Guard troops appeared to largely refrain from engaging with demonstrators. So that debunks the hoax that Trump incited the riots. Karen Bass, who told cops to stand down, said the streets weren't really dangerous until Trump mobilized the Guard.
What we're seeing in Los Angeles is chaos that is provoked by the administration. When you run armored caravans through our streets, you cause fear and you cause panic. And deploying federalized troops is a dangerous escalation.
Even Kamala weighed in, saying deploying National Guard is a dangerous escalation meant to provoke chaos. Yeah, the guy who ran on Law and Order wants to provoke chaos. Makes no sense. Democrats are trying to frame Trump as a heavy-handed dictator, even though the city was on fire before he sent the Guard in. Newsom, who could have called up the Guard himself, is suing Trump for protecting his state.
Fox News is calling it the L.A. riots. Is it a peaceful protest? What's happening and what are you seeing?
Well, I mean, look, Donald Trump has created the conditions you see on your TV tonight. He's exacerbated the conditions. He's, lit the proverbial match. He's putting fuel on this fire ever since he announced he was taking over the National Guard. An illegal act, an immoral act, an unconstitutional act, and we're going to test that theory with a lawsuit tomorrow.
Newsom wants to send the National Guard home. Less law enforcement makes the streets safer? Didn't we learn our lesson already with defund the police? Remember, they blame Trump for the fires, too, and the homeless and the crime and the drugs. They say it's all Trump's fault. Newsom spent $20 million to Trump-proof California, and they can't even police their streets and put out a fire. Tom Homan says if Gavin keeps obstructing, he's going to slap him with federal charges. Gavin says, lock me up.
The fear, the horror, the hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know, I don't give a damn. But I care about my community. I care about this community. The hell are they doing? These guys need to grow up. They need to stop. And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So, Tom, arrest me. Let's go.
Trump says don't tempt him with a good time.
Gavin Newsom he's daring Tom Homan to come and arrest him. Should he do it?
I would do it if I were Tom. I think it's great. Gavin likes the publicity, but I think it would be a great thing. He's done a terrible job. Look, I like Gavin Newsom. He's a nice guy, but he's grossly incompetent. Everybody knows. All you have to do is look at the little railroad he's building. It's about 100 times over budget. We're putting a flagpole over there. Under budget. I always do under budget.
Mad Maxine Waters, no relation, wants a mugshot too. She's trying to break into federal buildings in L.A.
Ma'am, our lobby's secure right now to all visitors.
Excuse me, I need to get in.
Contact our public affairs office.
I need to get in.
Miss Waters is rallying foot soldiers, telling them don't be scared of the Guard, keep on fighting.
The governor didn't know anything about the National Guard coming here. He did it on his own. We can't be intimidated. We've got to get the people out. We've got to get the elected officials out. We've got to resist him. I'm going back out into the communities where ICE was last night to make sure people know that their elected officials are standing with them.
Democrats called in the National Guard when 50 migrants were flown into Martha's Vineyard. Now they're setting fires to stop the federal government from enforcing immigration law, even though they said only the federal government could enforce immigration law. This is who they're fighting to protect. These bad hombres iced in L.A. You ready? They're sexual predators, convicted of assault, battery, gun crimes, drugs. One of the illegals picked up in L.A. yesterday was a gangster who shut up a high school graduation party, killing 2. If you're fighting for the rights of foreigners in the United States, that means you're fighting alongside foreign governments. You're fighting for citizens of other countries. When citizens of other countries break into our country and commit crimes and throw rocks at cops and set cars on fire, historically, we called that war. And when a politician aids and abets these foreigners, how's that not treason? Encouraging foreign national criminals to assault police and federal agents, how's that not going to lead to secession? Violently resisting the enforcement of federal law, that's one of the ways the Civil War started. And the last time the Democrats fought a civil war didn't go too well. Gavin says Trump's the one starting it.
What do you make of the fact that he says, you want a civil war on the streets of America?
No, it's just the opposite. I don't want a civil war. A civil war would happen if you left it to people like him And I liked him. You know, I always got along with him. Never had a problem with him. But he's grossly incompetent.
There's been 2 assassination attempts. Now, violent riots against federal law enforcement. I hope this doesn't get any worse. It's not like Trump didn't campaign and win on this. A CBS poll says a majority of the country wants more illegals like these deported. Most voters say Trump's deportations make them feel safer. Maxine, she wants to give them citizenship.
They should not be treated this way. They should be given an opportunity to tell their story, whom they are, and why they're here, and ask the United States to please do what the Constitution allows us to do, and that is give them consideration for having citizenship here.
Yeah, let's give citizenship to the guy throwing cinder blocks at cops. Democrats are causing mayhem in their cities, so when Trump restores order, they can label him a dictator and stir up even more hatred and violence against them. They're burning their own cities just to prove to their bloodthirsty base that they're fighting Trump in the streets, burning their own cities for power. Not to mention deporting thousands of illegals from Democrat states when the census gets done subtracts congressional seats. One of the groups behind the riots, the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights, is a taxpayer-funded group that happened to get millions of dollars from the Biden administration. And they also have ties to the communist Chinese. So this is a taxpayer-funded riot with foreign fingerprints. And the violence isn't spontaneous. Democrats let 10 million illegals into the country, then called ICE the Gestapo for enforcing the law Americans chose at the ballot box. Their top leaders want to abolish ICE, and their mayor was giving cops stand-down orders. And they're suing Trump for doing what he was elected to do. A Democrat senator says he wants to see riots all across the country.
Obviously, this is a moment where we have to be on the streets all over the country to protest what's happening to our immigrant community, but more broadly to protest what's happening to our democracy. This is the most corrupt administration in the history of the country, and we are going to rise to this moment by being out there on the streets.
Trump's now sending 700 Marines into L.A. just to give the National Guard some backup. He's not taking any chances. But Democrats are saying this won't stop until ICE leaves.
I think that if ICE left, I think if the National Guard left, you would see this all die down.
They're extorting us. They're promising to keep rioting if we don't stop deporting. Mass migration has ruined civilizations. And one side is trying to save civilization, and the other side's letting it burn. In a sick way, it's good the country sees this. This is the hardcore reality of mass migration from the third world. It's easy to let them in, but hard to let them leave. The question you have to ask yourself is the civilization worth saving? I think it is. But there are millions of people in the country who don't. And that makes me question the patriotism of my own countrymen. We either have a border or we don't. We either have laws or we don't. We either have a country or we don't. It's time to choose a side.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.